Good morning. Free Spirit here. I thought I would start inside and show you a few things pertaining to the garden in the rest of the video. And then we can go outside and I'll see if it's quiet enough to use, the nice binaural sounds for you, or if I'll have to do a voiceover depending on how much activity is going on out there. I really wanted to get up early and get out and do this when it was nice and cool and quiet, but the mornings here with 5 cats, 2 dogs, and 2 horses, gotta water them and walk them and clean after them and feed them breakfast, and I'm usually starting at 5:30 or 6, and by the time I get all that done, I just need a cup of coffee and sit down for a bit, so it's very hard to get out the door and doing stuff at this particular time. So, here we are. It's very hot out. We watered late yesterday or last night, and so the garden really didn't need immediate watering. Hello, Squeak. It didn't need immediate watering this morning, so I'm going to go out and check on it in a little bit and see if I should. I think the cucumbers at least will need water, so let me show you what I've got, and then we'll get outside. I was going to make a video way back when I was making my lists and lists of lists. This is a map of the garden, and I basically started it when I was growing seeds, germinating seeds in trays and 3-inch pots, because it was driving me crazy having to buy markers that would just fade or break. So this year I decided to do it this way and just write a number on every pot and flat that I was planting. Come here, Squeak. If you want to say hello, just come up. Come on. Well, Margot is hogging the exit going out into the cat patio, and he's telling me he's not happy. He wants to go out. Just go through. Just push her. She'll get out of the way. Go ahead. No, you're going to be on the camera. Come here. I don't think you've ever been on the camera. Come here. Say hello. Come here. Come here. Squeak. This is my Black Panther. Yeah, look at that pretty face. Look at that pretty face. Oh, he's a good boy. He's extremely shy, even with me. And any loud noise, and it freaks him out, and he just all claws out and run as fast as possible over whatever. So he's not very trustworthy on the lap. But he's a good boy, and he has to have his little hugs and kisses in the morning, every morning. He sits on the couch and waits for me to come over with the coffee. And he says, Ma, Ma. Huh, you always call for Ma? What a good boy. He says, yeah, you don't ever make videos in this room, so you never get to see him, because he likes to hide back here. Alright, back to the lists. So my seed maps had 20 of the 6-portion trays, had the humidity covers. I showed those in one of the last videos. And I just wrote down everything that was here. And then I have 7 window boxes, which have since been put outside. So once they get going and it gets too hot for them, because it's mostly greens and herbs, then I can bring them in and have them in the window with the grow light. I have 7 of those, and then I have 3-inch pots. This was the list at the bottom, and I had 21, 22, 23, 24 3-inch pots. And I have a huge variety of things to grow, so. Then I made And I was going to redo this. I was going to show you, and I was going to redraw it with colored pencils, make it very neat, but we're pretty far into the garden at this point, so I'm not sure that I really need it anymore. And it's gotten dripped on and watered along with the seeds, so it's gotten really crinkly. So this was supposedly it was my garden layout. So on this side there's a shed. This is the gate and the fence to go into the garden. So a little walkway that we left. We didn't rototill there, so it's very hard packed. And on this side, along the fence, in the corner, I did a lot of greens. And I have that area covered with a shade cloth that's tied to the fence on two sides and then staked out over here. And over in this corner, I have artichokes. And I have one that had flowers that actually produced artichokes, but I let it go to flower so that I could attract the little pollinators. And so next year we'll get more. And then I planted a few more, so I think I have 7 artichoke plants in that corner. And next to it is some tomatillos. And then we have some peppers that were just extra that my cousin had. And he's like, where can I put these? I said, go ahead, throw them in there. And they're growing, so we'll see if anything happens. We're kind of late starting on a lot of stuff. And then here, up against the shed, I have chili peppers, which are already hugely abundant, and I don't know what I'm going to do with all of them, but I'm waiting for them to turn red, and then we'll pick them and probably dry them. And in the middle is a potato plant that just volunteered from last year. We didn't have potatoes in here, but it was in the dirt, the compost and everything that we mixed. And there was a tomato plant there as well. And then I put peppers all around that potato plant. And then we have a row of tomatoes, a variety. And in front of that are some melons. And then in this area is some more peppers, the different varieties. And then on the side, I made a few rows up against the fence on this side. And those are 3 kinds of lettuce, some radishes, and some onions. And down here we have beets. Oops. We have beets and kale, spinach, arugula. And then I just planted another row of spinach because I think I forgot. I think this is Swiss chard. So I think I messed up on that. But along the fence, there are 4 Chadwick cherry tomatoes. We have way too many cherry tomatoes because all through the garden there are volunteer tomato plants that came up, especially by the cucumbers against the other fence. And along this side too. On the outside of the fence, we have a bed that is enclosed by brickwork and has really good soil and compost in there. And we have all of our melons in there, cantaloupe and watermelon and honeydew and a couple of others, I think. And potatoes all along the fence, just inside of the melons. And they're just about on their way out. So we'll be opening up that section. We had about 5 volunteer potato plants come up, and so we just included a bunch more that we put in. And then on the outside, and then we have cucumbers over here. And these are the tomatoes. Yeah. And then carrots and corn in the corner. And I had a few beans, so I could get the beans and the corn together, but they didn't really do well. And then on the outside, all the way around the outside of the fence, are where those massive zucchini plants are. probably more than we needed, of course, because zucchini is so prolific. But they're beautiful, and they kind of shade a little bit on that side too. So, and then on the far outside, on the back side of the shed, over by where my neighbor, my renter, has a patch of grass for the dogs, I planted some pumpkin and some squash, and there are already potatoes volunteering there too, so we just added a few more. So quite a lot of things in a smallish garden. I was really impressed, and we're still putting things out there. I have broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage. Lots of starts. They are very healthy, and I need to take them out of the grow bag and put them in so that they can get going, so we can have a fall harvest. Yeah, it'd be really nice. I just want to grow the things I really, really eat, like the tomatillos, tomatoes, cucumbers, corn, potatoes, cabbage, all the greens. And then I have, this is the planter, the herb garden. Then I have this one close to the house. It's a round brick planter and has the herbs. So it has oregano, dill, parsley, garlic, chives, and basil. And those, because I got started late with everything, it started getting very hot. We had a heat wave, and so everything grew really rapidly, but then it started to bolt or, flower and then go to seed. So I decided to just let that all go to seed and replant itself. And I also have 2 tomato plants that came up in the middle there. Don't know where that came from. Probably bird poop. And then we created a whole new flower bed, which my cousin wanted to outline it for me in brick. And he's very much a straight lines and angles kind of guy. And I said, nature is curvy. Nature is irregular. We don't have to have straight lines and rows and things. We can just move things around, and crowd things together is fine. Just, let's be a little looser this time. So I got him to create this brickwork, which looks like a couple of big boobs. But the thing was, I had a tree stump here on each one. Those gigantic elm trees that were up against the house, I finally got them just chopped down. And now I got the stumps there, so I wanted to have some baskets on top with some flowers or something and start planting. And so I did a bunch of rows of different things, and I haven't been that successful with that bed yet, except for strawberries and borage and 4 o'clocks. 4 o'clocks. They've gone mad. I think we had several packets of seeds that we shared between myself and my neighbor, and they just reseeds like mad. So we have a lot of 4 o'clocks. I'll show you all these things because they're really nice. And I'm glad we have something at least. So along the edges on both sides, I have 2 different types of strawberries, and they're doing very well. They're still small, and they're starting to spread a little bit. And then I have a rose bush. This is my water source here. And then back here, I planted some things that never came up. So annoying. So there's my list of what I had planted, my number guide. And so I had bee balm, and I had sunflowers, and I had some nasturtium and calendula. None of it came up, but the 4 o'clocks. The 4 o'clocks did. And the strawberries, and I put in borage. And the borage are about to flower. So that's going to be beautiful. And on the next page is the front porch. And this one, actually I didn't follow up on it very well because I only ended up planting this one and this one. If you can see. This one and this one. These are little swimming pools, plastic swimming pools with the grow bags in it. So this small one only could hold 5, and this one, I think was 10. Let's see what I end up with, 15, 5. Yeah, so that one has 10 bags in it. And then I was going to do these other 2 because I've got all these bags, but I didn't work on the soil in the bags, and I just kept putting it off, and so many things were, a lot of problems pop up in life, so I didn't have time to do it. Then it started getting way too hot, and I just didn't have the energy. But there's my window boxes too, the 7 window boxes that I put outside on a table. And yeah, so I move things around. It's not like that anymore, but at least I do have the guide, so I know all of these things are planted in those 15 grow bags. And a couple of them are going to open up because I'm going to transplant the broccoli and the cauliflower and the cabbage. And that's it for that. Okay. That's a lot, isn't it? I know, I have so many things growing. And when I go out in the garden, I just look at this and I can see which I've planted where, because then I know what works and what I need to try somewhere else. But it's an amazing amount of things I've got. Yeah. I actually got this a couple years back, but this is a must in the desert. It's a light colored fabric, and it's very lightweight, and has a wide brim, a nice wide brim, with some ventilation on the side. It's a little air holes, and a little mesh. It's adjustable, so even my big head fits in it, and I can tighten it so it doesn't blow off in the wind. But the main thing is that it has this panel hanging down the back, the fabric, which protects my neck. Yeah, gotta have that. And cover my head, shade my face. Very well made, mesh lined, so you get a little bit air circulation. Yep, a very nice addition to the gardening stuff. Yeah. And then I got this. I was gonna make one, but you know what? They had them on sale and it was like $12 or something, so. It's a gardening apron. And it's made with nice canvas material. It's very tough and rugged and washable. And the front looks like that. Has 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets. 2 with zippers. So I could put my cell phone and have my earphones coming out so that I could listen to stuff, podcasts and stuff while I'm outside and not get dirty. And of course, for making videos, I can put my recorder, well, it's behind me, I can put my recorder in there. I'm pretty sure it'll fit. Yeah. And then this is elastic, and it has the buckles on either end. Snap the buckles. I had to put it out all the way. I don't know who they thought they were making this for. I'm not that big across the hips, but my gosh, I don't like to tighten it up at my waist. I like to drop it a little bit lower. Yep. So it just snaps into place. And the best part is, of course, this gigantic I could fit a small dog in there. Definitely a few cats. Because I don't know if you're like me when you garden, but I always have to have like a big t-shirt so I could put all the cherry tomatoes and all the things in, the beans, and then hold it to try to get it in the house. So this way I'll be able to gather quite a lot. And I won't make a mess. And I won't stretch out my shirts. So I'm going to be wearing that today when I go out. And I got myself a nice new sharp pair of garden scissors. And these are nice. They have a lock to keep the blades closed. comfortable grip, very springy. I don't want to snip snip, because usually I'm out there, I forget my scissors, and I'm just like pinching and pulling stuff, and it's so much better just to cut it cleanly, right? And I'm also going to bring this basket for zucchinis, because they take up too much space. And I know there's a whopper out there. I saw it yesterday and I thought, I'm going to let you harvest it for me, okay? You want to harvest the zucchini? It's massive, but there's a few small ones too. And then maybe I'll have to share my cream of zucchini soup that I made. Oh my gosh, what a great way to use up zucchini. I've been going crazy making zucchini bread, zucchini fritters, sliced zucchini, sauteed zucchini, battered zucchini. And sometimes I just, blitz it all up and put it in with spaghetti sauce. And what else did I make? Oh, and I also use a vegetable peeler and make long strips of zucchini for noodles, add it to a stir fry. It's really good. Yeah, I thought so. And one last outdoor project I need to take care of for sure. I'm replacing my hummingbird feeders. This is the brand that I use, and I love them. I have had probably 6 different designs, and they all drip or attract bees, or they just don't work very well, or the nectar goes bad too fast. This one is nice because you can just fill it enough that it's mostly down here, and it's accessible by these little flowers with a little hole in it. The only fault is that this little rubber piece, silicone piece that they eat through, that eventually deteriorates because of the sun and the elements. And so then it doesn't stay on, and then you have a hole there, and then a lot of insects get in there and foul up the nectar. So I just decided, rather than try to buy a bunch of these and replace them, because I had cracked both of them somehow or other and had repaired them from the outside with some glue, and they were working okay, but they just looked real gross, So now I've got nice, fresh hummy feeders. And then this one has a big moat on the top. If you have problems with ants, I haven't. Knock wood. Knock wood. I haven't had problems this year, but if you have ants, you just fill up the moat with water, and that way when they climb down the hanger or wherever you've got it hung, they can't get down into the nectar. And I like these because it has the ring all the way around that they can sit on while they eat. Yeah. So I have 2 of them. The 2 out on the porch right now are empty, and the hummies have been flitting around the glass door looking in to tell me, chirping. But I know my neighbors on both sides have hummy feeders, so I'm not in a huge rush right now. I have to make some more nectar. And if you feed hummingbirds, you probably know by now that the red stuff that they sell is really not that great for them, because the food coloring is not healthy. So we make it with sugar and water, and it's 4 parts of water, 1 part sugar. So I just make a big bottle full. I think it's like 6 cups of water and 1.5 cups. Is that right? Of sugar, but I boil the water first and let it cool. That way you get rid of the chlorine, fluoride, that kind of stuff evaporates out. So then you can mix the sugar in, and I just keep the bottle in the refrigerator. And typically I only put, like I said, enough to fill up the bottom. It's like a 1/2 cup or a cup, and just a little bit here, so just so I can keep an eye on when it gets down, because if it's in the sun, or even if it's just in the heat, the sugar will ferment after a couple days. So I need to keep taking it down and rinsing it out and refilling it. So I don't put too much at a time, except in the winter. Then I fill it all away. So there's my exciting day. And maybe I'll just make this its own little video if it's this long. And then I'll go out to the garden and show you around. Okay? Alright. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Well, it's getting a little louder out here now that I decided to record. Ah, dear. It's feeding time. All the little critters are ready for Mom and Dad to come home from work and get their food, so. This is the garden. My cute little kickback garden gnome welcoming us in. I have filmed this tour at least 3 different times. And every time I start editing it, I realize that parts of it looked really shabby and it hadn't started growing in. And now I had all this nice, beautiful stuff coming in, or I had just watered it and it looked really good. So I kept filming it over and over. So here it is, because now it's getting the middle of August. Late August, and I don't know how long this will be around. So here we are. It looks like a massive jungle because I planted everything together and it did great. I was really shocked. This area I did keep covered almost all the time with this shade cloth because it is all the greens, and you wouldn't believe I still have so many greens. I'm gonna take these clips off. And I'm about to replant probably in a week or 2 for winter harvest. Look at how this stuff has gone to seed. I grew 3 different types of lettuce, and they came up and I ate a bunch of it, and then all these volunteer cherry tomatoes came up because we used to have some along this fence line last year, and they kind of took over, but they shaded everything underneath, and so the lettuce kept going, and it didn't bolt until just a couple weeks ago. But look at how beautiful it is. I just love to let things go in their natural way. Even if they're crowded or they're stunted or they're going to seed, I like to see what their flowers are like and, you know, what their habits are. I'm sorry, there's so much wind. The wind just picked up. It's been brutally hot today, at least 100, and kind of tropical-ish humidity coming in because it's monsoon season. Okay, so let me finish taking this shade cloth. I love a good shade cloth. Very nice sounds. And such a big help to desert gardens. I'm very grateful for my shade cloths. But I think it's time to keep this one off. I think it's time to keep this one off for good, because I really need to harvest whatever greens haven't gone too far and gotten bitter. But this is all, through here is all arugula, rocket, and there's still some baby ones in between that I need to sort through and pull out that are less, well, I guess they'll be a little bit bitter, but they're bitter anyway. But this is the flower from arugula, and then it'll have seeds, and so I'm hoping a lot of this stuff will come back. I still have one little row in front of baby spinach, so I'm going to pick those tomorrow morning. I have to do so much stuff in the house. I have so many things I need to cook and preserve and freeze, and I had a good harvest from this garden this time. These are giant, Swiss chard. And I'm going to make a puree with them, or just make a soup with Swiss chard and beans. And then, of course, there's some beautiful small ones down inside there. Ah, listen to that. I love garden sounds. In the back row back there along the fence, I still have some beans and what turned out to be black-eyed peas. Yeah, black-eyed peas. First time that I grew them, so I'm learning. And then I have purple royalty in the corner. There's not children being murdered in the distance. It's actually just a gorgeous evening after having such a hot day. Holy moly. Very rambunctious. Look at the sky. There's one of the horses at her water trough. They drink a lot of water when it's hot. It's so good. I'm so glad. Some horses don't drink enough. Just like people. There's my other baby. Hoping that I'll come by and throw some more hay over. Gotta wait till it cools down a little bit more. So yeah, this is the green side with lots of crazy cherry tomato volunteer plants everywhere. And I have behind the Swiss chard, I have beets. They're beautiful beets. You can see the purple stems. I need to pull some of those out in the morning too before it warms up. It's just losing the light right now, and I want to give you a little bit of a look at everything. So tomorrow we'll be doing that. Arugula, Swiss chard, beets. There's supposed to be spinach in there, but I don't think so. So that's why I planted another little row right in here. So I'll get some baby spinach. Anyway. So these are some melons, watermelon, and a couple weird varieties that I put in very late. And they're kind of coming on, but I think with the heat wave coming in, they'll probably be happy. It's just, oh, it's a little flower. Well, they're too small to be flowering yet, so I'm going to let it get some more leaves if it's going to. I know there's a lot of things that I can plant out here and that can start at this point, because it's going to start, well, it's not going to cool down for a couple months still, but it's not going to be as intense, and so I can put out some things that we'll harvest in the fall. And this is my jungle of tomatoes, which I decided to let just nature do its thing, and it's going very well. I'm getting, look at that. I think this is a Roma tomato. I have quite a few. There's more Roma there. There's a couple of big varieties in here. They're just barely starting. Oh, these are more bell-shaped as well. These are peppers. Lots of different varieties of peppers. Look at that. I think this is Serrano. Look Look at that. It's not a very big plant, but it's a beautiful chili. I have a few on that one too. This one is coming along slowly. I need to dig up around it and weed it and give it some compost. This has a lot of flowers on it though. So we'll see. Those are the only two. I have all these big tomatoes. Oh yeah, here we go. I think this is one of the heirloom variety. Look at that big baby. I'm a little bit late, I have to admit. But considering these only went out like less than a month ago, they just went crazy with the heat. So I have a lot of tomatoes coming. Go through the jungle and find the tomatoes. Over there. Isn't that nice? Then I have my experimental corn corner. Corny corn corner. I was growing Japanese hull-less of popcorn. I actually harvested a few ears that were adorable and small, but perfect. And I don't know how to use it. It's kind of decorative, I think, but next year, I learned a lot this year. And the ones in the back grew much taller, much better. But I was late. I missed almost the whole month of April because I was really fixated on Riley and his health and his issues. But luckily, he's still kicking. He's doing great. These are some really nice peppers that I need to harvest and dry. I guess those are the ones that I'll dry. And over here I have tomatillos, which this is the first time I've grown them. They sprawl. They sprawl. I don't know if you're supposed to put them in cages and let them crawl up or just let them be, but like I said, I like to just see what things do. And this has got so many flowers on it. It's crazy. I think I have some hornworm somewhere. It looks like a couple of these branches have been picked clean, if I'm not mistaken, but I haven't had any problem with them really destroying much, so I don't care. But look, I have tomatillos. See the kitties? Look at those. The thing is that the husk is probably about the right size, but the tomatillo inside is still tiny little marbles. Oh, I'm losing the light. Let's get the light. That's pretty much it. I have an area in the corner that was for artichokes, but they've kind of gone dormant. They've lost most of their leaves, and I'm gonna just pack some dirt over them. I'm gonna start some new plants as well. And then cucumbers in the way back, which are now past. All the leaves had gone yellow, but they were very fruitful for me. We had probably a couple dozen. I only had 4 plants going. I made pickles and had salads, and it was really delish. More tomatoes, 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 all this stuff along the fence is tomatoes that just came from nowhere. And I'm gonna be ruthless and pull most of them out because there's just only so many cherry tomatoes you can deal with. And that whole bed back there is all carrots. It was all rows of carrots, but there's probably about 15 volunteer tomato plants in there too, so big harvest tomorrow. And I was gonna water everything. Maybe I still will give everything a quick little drink. And I want to show you on the outside. I'm trying to move slowly because when I was editing the others, I noticed it was a little jerky, so I do apologize for that. Oh my goodness. And my sunflowers are all done. They have a very dignified ending. They have so many seeds in there. Look at all the seeds that are coming. Yeah, all of these little bits of the flower will come off, and then the seeds are in there. I'm going to cut some of the heads off and put them on near my feeder for the birds. I'll leave a couple here to do their thing. And I didn't plant any of these either. They just came up. We didn't have sunflowers here last year, so it just came up from somewhere. This little cluster. And this little bed, surrounded by brick, was an annex where we just planted a bunch of potatoes last year, and we didn't have a good yield because the soil was really crappy. But my cousin did so much amending over the winter and just rototilled down and then added all kinds of really great organic composting stuff, and really helped a lot. So all these orange little bits you can see are all marigolds that I planted all over the place, and they finally came up with vengeance. But they keep the pests out, and it's been great. We haven't had any real damage from anything. I think if the soil is healthy and the plants are healthy, then the bugs don't seem to bother them. And if they do, they don't take very much, so. Here's a honeydew melon, and behind it in there is a cantaloupe. And then there's a couple more cantaloupe over here and back there. And we have watermelon. Crickets are out. Where's that watermelon? He's hiding in there. And then we have a bigger one over here. And some more, I think some honeydew. And a few more over behind here too. We've had a couple of them ripened already, but they're coming soon, so that's going to be wonderful. And then last, we go around the corner. And on this side, it's looking kind of ragged because I cut everything back to the bare bones, but yeah, it's getting kind of dark. It's all zucchinis, green, and then the yellow summer squash, the crookneck. But they're still producing. I have 3 yellow zucchinis, or yellow squash on here, that I'll be picking tomorrow. I just picked a couple from my front porch, the gray zucchini. And then we have the first bed to go every year is the big pumpkin patch back here. We still have one really beautiful plant back there has spread all the way over to the fence. And we have a big pumpkin down in there. It's kind of dark, so you can't see it. But you can see the orange one there. And over there. And over there. And then there's one under there. I think we have 6 pumpkins still going, so they'll be here for a little while more. And then this is the back of the shed. And then we have a little patch of grass for my neighbor's dog and my dog. Dogs. I bring Riley over here too, although he doesn't quite know where he is anyway since he's blind, so it's always a treat when he feels grass. Come on, Focus. Yeah, losing the light. Alright, my dears, well, maybe tomorrow morning early I will go back to the front porch and show you what's going on in that garden. So, yeah, I think we did pretty good. And I'm going to replant a bunch of things too. And hopefully we have time enough for the tomatoes to really turn on. So that's it from Free Spirit Land. Just see the last of the light. It's so loud out tonight because it's so fresh. It feels so good with the breeze. Finally cooling us off. I'm right on cue. It blows. One of the only reasons I don't resent having to bring my little old man dog out at 4 or 5 in the morning, because the temperature is so nice and it's so quiet. You hear the crickets. You hear the rooster starting to wake up. No traffic. And most times I can convince everybody to go back to sleep for a little while. I wish you a very pleasant and peaceful evening. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.